the students in my class starting in September. We download all the information from the National History Day website, and as their teacher, as our social studies teacher, I have created a semester 1 guideline sheet where they have certain steps they have to check off and different requirements they have to meet along the way. So for example, during the first 9 weeks, their main grade is for deciding on a topic and writing a concise yet research-based thesis question. And once they have done that, then they set up a notebook and a live binder to be able to store digital and paper sources. Throughout class, even students that are not participating in the History Day, we're having instruction on primary and secondary sources. We're having work in the classroom with MLA format and correct bibliographies and how to annotate them, so that by the second semester they have to turn in a rough draft of their copy, a sketch, all their research, and some analysis of what their sources have said. They have to have specific primary amount of primary sources to include in their project, and we just work on fine-tuning that up until the third marking period, where they turn in their final and get a grade from me. One success that's been great is I wrote a grant through our local PTA to get iPads, and I did not realize what a great success it was going to be to get that technology at our school. But with working with websites and documentaries, even just digital sources, the ability for a kid to pick up the iPad or some type of tablet device and just look at the sources that they need and carry it around with them without having to wait for things to be hooked up and plugged in, that has been great. Another thing that has been very successful is in planning these semester requirements and having them turn in a small amount at a time. I'm able to really work with them one-on-one to diagnose and help them come up with essential questions that are going to drive their research into interesting areas that they maybe would not have thought about. I'm really able to pull in Common Core and to be a facilitator to their learning and their gaining of research skills before I have to send them into high school. The kids, we talk about things that they are interested in, and as we talk about different topics that they're interested in and that they know about, then they'll meet with me one-on-one and do some more background research so that they can kind of branch out and maybe learn about something that they didn't necessarily know. When I talk to the kids about their topics, they generally come to me and they say, oh, well, I want to do something on the plague. Well, that is so broad and could be an entire college course. So in working with young adolescents, the best course of action at that point is to sit down and have a conversation with them and say, okay, what interests you about this? Is it the way that that it spread? Is it the way that the disease worked? What aspect of this one event are you most interested in? Because you need to be able to pull in the components. Are you science and technology interested in the plague? Are you geographically interested in the spread of it? Are you politically interested in how it changed things? Are you interested in the role religion played in it? So there's so many vantage points where kids can look at and examine the past. You really need to narrow it down on what they're interested in as far as what they love. Well, Turning Points was actually one that was pretty easy this year because one of the things that we focus on a lot in social studies class for all of the students is what is that magic moment, that second in one time period, what is that magic moment that just kind of turned everything around? And so as we go through studying in the curriculum, let's say exploration and interaction with Native Americans, how do you identify what in that moment changed the world forever? It is all about, in teaching history, the significance, the why it matters, and how did the world change as a result. So all year long in my class and in classes with one of my co-teachers who teaches language arts, we are forever asking why does it matter, and give me the evidence and look at the text. So they are trained from the beginning of school that is not an exception. That is the reality. That is the expectation in class. So when it comes time to have those difficult conversations, they are able to communicate better with you and interact. I would say that it would be a great opportunity for all of the kids, but there is a certain learning curve. I've been teaching for a long time, and this is only my second year doing History Day here at ECU. I have sat through workshops, worked with professors. I'm one of those people that likes to take everything in and make sure I know how it's going to work. So I guess my advice would be do some research yourself, because it is a lot of work for the kids, but definitely push them to be involved in some type of project like this. Some of my children do not participate in History Day, but they participate in something called a Big Idea project. So in trying to get involved in it, find somebody local, a co-teacher that can introduce you to that, a university professor that can provide you with insight on how to make sure that your kids are following through and following the steps. And most definitely do not introduce the topic or the project by showing them all the rules.